everyone, this is Yami, your Latina next door. Welcome back. Today we have July's Look for Less challenge. If you're new here and just tuning in, the Look for Less challenge is a monthly challenge that I host every month with a different co-host. In this challenge, we invite you to recreate something from a high-end home decor store for a whole lot less. This month's co-host is Leanne over at DIY Beauty on Purpose. Make sure you check her channel out as soon as you're done with this video. If you participated this month, the link to add your video to the playlist is located in my description box as well as Leanne's. I have a beautiful farmhouse inspired look for less for you guys, and I can't wait to show you how I did it. Let's get started. While browsing online, I came across this beautiful whitewash wooden barn door with glass face on Kirkland's website. I love the look, but at $75, it was out of my price range, so I decided to make my own. So I found this frame over at my local Goodwill. It was only $1.50 because they were having a 50% off green tag sale. And as you can see, this actually was $19.99 from Hobby Lobby. So this was a great score. Next, I had these poplar pieces of wood that I always have on hand. These are from Home Depot and only $1.05 a piece. You guys know I always use those. And I took them and started making markings on each end for each of the corners. This was going to be my little barn door X. Next, I took my miter saw kit and started cutting along the lines. Once I was done with one end, I would go back to the frame, make sure it fit snugly, drew my lines again, and then cutted the other side. After both ends were cut, I made sure to sand them down and then did a dry fitting. Keeping that first piece of wood in there, I came back with another piece of poplar and I traced the other two pieces that would go on the other side to complete the X. Then I removed the pieces of poplar wood and gave them 2 coats of white chalk paint. I did the same thing to the entire frame, making sure to also paint the frame that goes around it. After both coats were dry, I took my ruler and I made markings in order to make the faux wood slats that would go on the barn door. I marked the center and then the center of each side, and then I did the same thing to the other side of the frame. Then with a piece of poster board that fit just inside the frame, I went ahead and used that as my flat edge to draw from one point to the other. All I used was a pencil and it gave me the perfect lines for it. Next, it was time to adhere the X, and I just used some of the wood glue from Dollar Tree. It actually works pretty well. And then after the X was in place, I put some heavy paint little jars that I had to keep it down and flat on the surface while it dried. I had this empty jar, I don't even know where it came from, so I wanted to go ahead and use that as my vase. And we picked this little item up from Home Depot. I'm not sure what the heck it's called, but you guys know what it is. You pull it and it tightens. So I figured it was malleable enough to cut to fit around our jar. But apparently it wasn't soft enough for me to cut. Lucky enough, I have the Latino engineer who has stronger hands than I do, and he cut it for me. I wanted it to wrap around the jar and of course hold it on to the little barn door. So the Latino engineer came in and began trying to fit it around the jar and making it the shape that I needed it, as well as cutting the excess that I didn't need. It took him a little while to figure out the exact length that we needed to make it and how to wrap it around it. Unfortunately, my hands aren't strong enough for this because I do suffer from a carpal tunnel, but again, I'm lucky that he is here to help me with little things like this. Now, after we got the size just right, I went in with some Gorilla Glue. I didn't want it to accidentally slip and fall because I do have little kids, so I wanted to make sure that there was some kind of adhesive on it in addition to the pressure. It took me a little bit to find out exactly where I wanted the metal to sit and where it best would hold the jar up. And after I did that, then I had to figure out a way to hold it. And what I did was I found that a hair tie works in these instances, and it kept it held together while the adhesive dried. I removed any excess adhesive that might have gotten on the jar from all the shifting, and then I let it dry overnight. And the next day, all we needed to do was drill a couple holes in the metal and screw it right on to the X. I added some faux stems that I had lying around, and the project was finally finished. I love how this turned out, but let's see how I did. The original from Kirkland's was $75, and while mine was a little bit smaller in scale than the ones at Kirkland's, all I needed was a frame, 2 poplar pieces of wood, a jar that I already had on hand, some paint, some florals, and that little silver piece that held everything together. And all of it only cost me $5 because I had some of the items already on hand. Now, I chose to leave the metal piece silver, but you can always paint it black like in the original piece. However, I think this was another pretty good dupe. I hope you enjoyed this month's Look for Less. Please make sure to hit like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And don't forget to check out my co-host Leah Nepp over at DIY Beauty on Purpose, as well as that link to that playlist to get a whole bunch more inspiration. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget I have another channel called The Latinos Next Door where we share a lot more behind the scenes of what goes on in our family during our renovations. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, adios!